Well, Jannik Sinner gets the win at Wimbledon over Carlos Alcaraz. He gets it done. He overcomes the demons from the French Open final. He beats Carlos Alcaraz in the court where he just won the last two Wimbledons. He puts in a brave, great serving performance, and that's really what the difference was today. We'll talk about the stats, themes of this match, how Sinner found an edge, how he executed his game plan better, what his game plan seemingly was. And we'll talk about the rivalry going forward because it's definitely gotten tighter now because of this. I think this was a bigger win for Sinner than it was going to be for Alcaraz, and Sinner got it done. So he's clutch. Anyone who doubted him from the French Open can just take a look at the Wimbledon final to see what this kid is made of. So congrats to Jannik Sinner and his fans, and let's break this down. This is the slice presented by Betway. Let's get into it. Oh boy, oh boy. Well, I have to say it. I did call Sinner to win. I predicted in the preview video, you can go back and watch it. I said, I believe Sinner's going to win this one over Alcaraz. And a lot of people didn't think that was right, but I felt like he would because of his serving and because of the pace of the court and because of, I think, just like he needed it more. He wanted it more. You know, we'll talk about it more, but if Alcaraz had won this one, it would have been 6 wins in a row and 6-3 majors. And to me, that just wouldn't have seemed like that rivalry there would have been some separation there. And it would have been like, can Sinner beat Alcaraz? But Jannik Sinner says, hold up, I'm right here. And this is a 2-man race. If anyone was doubting it, which I was not doubting it, but I'm just saying if it had gone the other way, that's why I feel like it was more important to Sinner to get over that French Open loss where he was probably should have won that match, and he wins Wimbledon. So the best comeback is just to win, and that's amazing for Sinner. So welcome back to The Slice. If you're new here, smash the subscribe button. I do analysis like this before and after every major final. We do interviews with top professional players on our channel. And yeah, we'd love to have you here. So thanks for subscribing and being here. And thanks for following the whole week long or 2 weeks long. We put a lot of effort into covering the channel or the tennis on here on YouTube, on Instagram and X, and we appreciate your support. This was a great final. It was definitely not an instant epic classic, I wouldn't say, like the French, but it was a great match. Wimbledon, some of the rallies that these guys put together today was like you got to see how animalistic it was at the French Open. There were some animalistic rallies today, but they're just the speed and the quality of the ball striking was more on display today rather than how long and how physical the rallies could be. And some of the shot making was just incredible. Like the way that Alcaraz finished the first set, the way that Sinner finished the second set, incredible tennis. Alcaraz there was just vintage in the way he finished that set. With the slice stab return off a huge Sinner forehand down the line. Sinner under the gun a little bit. Could he close out the second set? Yeah, he could. He hit big shots, broke to win, I believe. And yeah, just huge tennis from him. So themes of today. How did Sinner beat Alcaraz? Sinner, I believe his game plan would have been to be aggressive. Pretty obvious game plan. A lot of people have it. Can you execute it? And he executed it. I believe his game plan was serve well, serve big, be aggressive behind it, and come to the net. Use the backhand down the line to open up rallies, get to the net. And he did that. In the first set, which he lost, you could see him being the more aggressive player because he made more unforced errors. And I believe he was still coming to the net with urgency in that first set. He made 13 unforced errors and only 6 winners to Alcaraz's 11 winners and 8 unforced errors. So Alcaraz played a cleaner, better set, but Sinner was the more aggressive player. He came to the net 8 times, Alcaraz only 4 times. He lost that set, but he stuck to the game plan. So you don't win a set, you don't have to change your game plan. Champions stay locked in, stay focused on what they're trying to do. The second set, he made less unforced errors, and he was more clean, and it paid off. He was controlling the pace of the play. He was a more aggressive player, and we talked about it in the preview. The speed of the court lends itself to the way that Sinner hits the ball. He can get the ball behind Alcaraz more easily here than he could at the French Open. And Alcaraz, we talked about it, this is the fastest surface that they'd ever played on a major, at a major final, or a big final in their last 6 matches. And yeah, it was clear that to me that Sinner could do more damage through the middle of the court with from the baseline, and then when he was able to use that backhand down the line, which is a huge shot today, he could get into net behind it and finish the points. And he was doing really well at net, finishing the points. On the match, he was 75% win rate at net. Alcaraz was 74%, but Sinner came to the net almost twice as much, 40 times, winning 30 of those points. So he was the braver, more aggressive player today. Sinner was. And then when it comes to serving, Darren Cahill said, honestly, before the match, it's probably going to come down to who serves better. And Jannik Sinner clearly served better. First serves in, he got 62%. First serves in for Alcaraz. Alcaraz only got 52% of his first serves in. Sorry, 53%. That's just not good enough. That's not good enough for Alcaraz. And that's going to be a disappointing performance from him on the serve, because he had been serving better than that coming in. They both won 75% of their first serve points. So that's equal. But when you make 9% more, that is a big difference. And then on the second serve points, Sinner was extremely aggressive, returning the Alcaraz second serve. That paid off. He won 49% of Alcaraz's second serve points, which is huge. And Sinner won 60% of his own second serve points. So better on the first serve, better on the second serve return and his own second serve. So he was the better serving, braver player today. And that's how you win Wimbledon. It's how it's done. You got to serve well and you got to be brave. We've seen Alcaraz do that in the last 2 Wimbledons. Against Djokovic the first time, he was braver in the bigger moments, played a better 5th set, served better than he did today. And yesterday or last year, he served well, crushed Djokovic. Today was not able to find his serve for whatever reason. And the Sinner serve got better as the match went on too. So Sinner's aggression got more tuned in. His serving got better. And then coming down to it, he just didn't blink when he had the advantage. There was a couple times when in the 4th set, when Sinner was up, Alcaraz started to make him think. There's a couple loose points there, but it got to 40-40 a couple times. But it really, when it came down to it, when the moments presented themselves like they did at the French Open, where Sinner had the chance to stay with it or go down, he was able to stay with it and play big time clutch tennis. So on the final game, when Sinner was serving for the match, he got a forehand unforced error from Alcaraz on the first point, and then Sinner on the second point went big first serve and then backhand down the line winner, and then Sinner won the next point at the net after a few amazing Alcaraz gets. So he was aggressive in that point, made it to net, finished the point at the net. So kind of two points that symbolized the match for Sinner was getting to 30 love, big first serve, backhand down the line winner. Those 2 shots helped him win today. And then getting to 40 love, he made it to net, hit 2 or 3 good volleys, and won that point at net. Then he made an unforced error, and then he had a big unreturned first serve down the tee to win Wimbledon. So that last game, you can just go watch that game and see how Sinner won this match. Big serving, aggression, backhands down the line. And yeah, that's how he got it done. Incredible stuff. Incredible stuff from Sinner, who, the naysayers, the criticizers, the haters, what are you going to say now? Pulse check, wellness check for Pavi G and all the people who hate on Jannik Sinner. Because I never for once believed that he's a cheater. And he's had this level of game for a long time. It took him longer than Alcaraz to perfect his game, but he's here now. and he just won Wimbledon. His first major off of grass or off of hard court. His first time beating Alcaraz in a major final. They've played 2 now. They're 1-1. This is the first time that anyone's beaten Alcaraz in a major final. And now he's got 4 majors. So Jannik Sinner is as good as it gets. And this performance solidified his place in tennis right now, because as world number 1, if he had lost this again to Alcaraz, then he'd lost the last 2 majors, their last 6 matches. And going into the US Open, even if the ranking would have stayed as him being the number 1, he really, in reality, wouldn't have been the number 1 player in the world. It would have been Alcaraz, just didn't have the ranking. But Sinner, I would say, shuts up the haters, says, I am number 1 in the world, and I am in this rivalry. And it's now a real rivalry. I'm back on top. I've won the last match, and we'll see. So Sinner's just got to feel so good about taking the lessons from the French Open, getting over the line here. That's got to feel amazing. Again, if he didn't again from a winning position, it would have been so tough. But I think Sinner's too good for that. I never had the feeling at the French Open that he was super tight. It was just, he did play. Yeah, obviously he let some of those points go. He should have served that match out, or at least one of those championship points. Got a little tight for sure, but it was never a huge mental choke for me. It was just, it's hard to win. It's hard to win, especially against Carlos Alcaraz in the final of a major. But he did it here at Wimbledon, so that's got to feel amazing. He goes into the U.S. Open now, able to have won the U.S. Open, Australian Open, Wimbledon, and then the U.S. Open. So he has a chance to win 4 of the last 5 majors, which is all-time level domination. And for Alcaraz, how does Alcaraz take this? I think this mattered more to Sinner, but for Alcaraz, this is going to hurt, of course. But he did just come off an amazing run. He won the French Open, defended it against Sinner, come from behind, probably the best match he's ever played, maybe the best major final that's ever been played. He had a great grass court season. He's just won a ton all the way through the clay and the grass. He was probably the best player if you take that whole sample size. Or I would say definitely was the best player. So he's got to feel good going in. What's his next challenge? Because he's proven that he's probably still the best player in the world on the natural surfaces. Yes, Jannik Sinner just beat him at Wimbledon, but now are you going to say Jannik Sinner's a better player at Wimbledon? I don't know if you can say that yet. Alcaraz has 2 titles. He's beaten Djokovic in the final of both. Sinner got this one, but that's one match. Their rivalry is young. It's going to be interesting to see their future matches at Wimbledon. And to be fair, their 2022 Wimbledon match does not really factor into this, in my opinion. That was before Alcaraz had won a major. That was when they were both at a different stage in their career. Neither of them were Wimbledon or were major champions at all. But I think the next notch up for Alcaraz to get to is beating Sinner on a hardcore major, like at the U.S. Open. Again, he did it back in 2022. Wasn't really the same caliber of player. Sinner wasn't on the hard court. So that I wouldn't count that either. Wouldn't count the Wimbledon win for Sinner back in 2022, and I wouldn't count the Alcaraz win over Sinner at the U.S. Open 2022. But Sinner's got a big challenge. Can he hang with and beat Jannik Sinner on a hard court? He hopefully will have a chance to do it at the U.S. Open or the Australian Open. I'd love to see this rivalry again for the next 2 times. Love to see an upset, but it doesn't seem like we're going to see that because these guys are clearly ahead of everyone else right now. And then come next year at Wimbledon, who's going to be the better man there? So to me, Alcaraz has got a challenge ahead of him, and that's what he needs to get up for something, I feel like. He would have loved to defend his title. He would have been the second person to ever defend a Channel Slam, I think. Channel Slam being winning the French and the Wimbledon. He did it in 2024, and he almost did it here in 2025, but he wasn't able to. So that's that. That's where the rivalry's at. 8-5 now for Alcaraz in their head-to-head. 1-1 in major finals. 4 majors for Sinner 5 for Alcaraz. And yeah, more please. That's all I'm saying. I would love many, many more servings of this rivalry. It's the best thing in tennis right now, in my opinion. And yeah, just where it goes from here is going to be so interesting because now it's really tit for tat. It's really who's going to win every match. I don't know. Alcaraz doesn't have the clear advantage in the head to head anymore. This is really, really good. And Sinner proves that he can get it done versus Alcaraz in the biggest moments at Wimbledon. No, nothing else to prove really for Jannik Sinner. So incredible performance from him. Great match. Great tournament all the way along through for Sinner. I think he was the best player throughout the whole event, even though he went down to Dimitrov. I credit a lot of that to him falling on his elbow and not feeling great. So a lot of people are talking about Dimitrov now. I get it, but we'll see. You gotta win. You gotta make it all the way through to win. And Jannik Sinner did that with the elbow wrapped up, and he's a Wimbledon champion now. So that's an analysis. That's a breakdown. Sinner did it with big serving, better percentages, better backhand down the line, better pace absorption through the baseline, and he responded to the variety incredibly well. We saw it when he got pulled to the net, he was able to respond. He was able to move up there well enough, like I thought he would be. And Alcaraz didn't have his drop shot because I feel like he didn't feel like he had as much time with his aggression. His aggression wasn't paying as many dividends, so his drop shot then wasn't as confident. He would miss a lot or he would not execute it as well. Sinner would get to it. So that's a tight battle. Even in 4 sets, that's a tight match. And Sinner comes through. Wimbledon champion 2025. All right. That's an analysis. Leave your thoughts below. Thank you for being here. Thanks for subscribing. We will see you in the American Hardcourt Summer. Little vacation here after Wimbledon. Feels great for everyone. And we will see you next time on the channel. Thank you for being here.